All right, Chapter 12, Fuel Facility Temporary Deactivation Closure. Let's go back. All right, Unified UFC 346003, November 10, 2017. Unified Facility Criteria Petroleum Fuel System Maintenance approved for public list distribution unlimited. All right, Chapter 12, Fuel Facility Temporary Deactivation Closure. Deactivation fueling facility. Prior to deactivation, fuel facility maintainers must contact the installation environmental office to review the requirements coordinated with ensure that the deactivated facility remain with the regulatory compliance throughout the deactivation period. Note that UST deactivated the extended underground storage tank deactivated with the extended period of time may be subject to closure for the notification of federal, state, local requirements. Contact installation environmental office over the further information. 12.2. Deactivated petroleum fuel tanks. Deactivated petroleum fuel tanks require the ballast must be filled with water anti-corrosion solution to protect against flotation. Overturning of the pipe connection to the tank with must be disconnected blind flange. Remain active pressure relief system attached. For the deactivated tanks must be connected activated tanks. The tanks must be located with indicate present staff of the test. Previous contents cathodic protection system deactivation tanks must continue to be used and maintained. 12.2.1 Inspection maintenance of the deactivated petroleum fuel tanks. Inspect water anti-corrosion tank level in the tank of the drop and investigate for the potential leak at the points of the blind flange. Repair leak for the detected refill appropriate level quarterly. Check exterior coating label and coatings and label the repair peeling coatings or rusting in the area of the replace the repair labels which may have been faded difficult to read frequency quarterly. Inspect the cathodic protection system of the deactivated tank for the proper operation annually. Deactivated petroleum fuel pipelines. Deactivated petroleum fuel pipelines must be drained fuel vapor free and isolated by use of the blind flange blanks and inspectable blinds. One of the petroleum fuel pipelines is isolated. It will be charged with the nitrogen and pressure of the 10 psi gauge, otherwise determined based on the size of the thickness of the pipeline material. Pipeline cathodic protection system must remain in operation good working order throughout the deactivated period. Inter-terminal pipelines are regulated, but the Department of Transportation must have a written deactivation plan to describe the process of use. The deactivation plan must be submitted for the installation environmental office, the pipeline regulatory compliance agency for the review approval, taking the inter-terminal pipeline and service reclassifying the pipeline into an inactive status for the Title 49 CFR 195 transportation hazard liquid in by pipeline. Additional information closure to dot regulated pipelines. Alright, 12.3.1 Inspection mainly deactivated fuel pipelines. Inspect the pressure of the nitrogen charge with applied with the petroleum fuel pipeline with the pressure gauge for the pressure charge is dropped. Investigate the repair leak points. On leak points, repair recharged with nitrogen quarterly. Check exterior coatings and label the repair of the peeling of the coatings of the rusting area of the replace the repair label to become faded, difficult to read quarterly. Inspect cathodic protection system, proper operation. Deactivated petroleum fuel pumps. Deactivated petroleum fuel pumps must be disconnected, supply discharge of the piping. The interior of the pumps must be treated with light corrosion inhibiting oil. Suction of the discharge pump of the pumps must be equipped with the blind flange and plugs. Inspection of the maintenance of the deactivated petroleum fuel pumps. Manually rotate pump through several rotations. Ensure the pump turns freely. Frequency quarterly. Check the exterior coatings, repair peeling coatings in the rusting area to replace the repair labels having been faded with a difficult to read quarterly. Remove the isolation flange, recoating the interior pump with the light corrosion inhibiting oil frequency annually. Miscellaneous deactivated components. Deactivated control valve. Specialized components must be removed with the piping in the tank with the connection with the port. For the removed components must be equipped with the blind fans, the dust cap, the pipe plugs in order to protect the internal surface of the working of the parts of the components and ensure the environmental exposure. From environmental exposure of the pipe, the tank connection points that remove the components must also be equipped with the blind flange plugs in order to protect internal surface of the piping of the tanks and environmental exposure of the removed components must be stored with a clean, dry area from the elements. Inspection, maintenance, miscellaneous deactivated components. Ensure blind flanges are tight. Inspect exterior coatings and label the repair peeling coatings for rusting areas. Replace or repair labels that have become faded or difficult to read. Frequency annually. 12.6 Tank and pipelines. Refer to Chapter 14 UFC 34601 for facility closure requirements. Shelf 7 the document record keeping. Refer to Section 14.3 UFC 34601 inventory requirements of closed fuel systems. And that was the reading of I don't read the appendixes, but you can check out the Appendix C. I did post that on Charter Conductor Quest for PHMSA. Unified Facility Criteria Petroleum Fuel System Maintenance. Approved for public distribution unlimited. Testing.